Welcome to Crafty Beach Adventure. In today's video, I'm going to take you on a trip with us to Sanibel Island in Florida, show you our amazing hotel we stayed at. We're going to go shelling here on the beach, and then we're going to go to the Bailey Matthews Shell Museum and Aquarium. This was such a fun trip, and we wanted to take you along with us to show you what this great museum and aquarium is like and all the fun things we did on our Sanibel vacation. Let's go to Sanibel Island. Sanibel Island is famous for their beaches and their shelling. We are going to have a great adventure today. I'm going to be driving across the state of Florida. It took about 3.5 hours to get from where we live in Vero Beach to arrive at Sanibel Island. Definitely one of my favorite places to visit in Florida. When you're first coming into Sanibel, you're going to notice the damage left over from Hurricane Ian with all these dead trees before you get to the bridge. But otherwise, it is looking so much better, and it looks so much better than it did a year ago. You do have to pay a toll to go onto the island, but not to leave the island. And you're going to cross a bridge with a beautiful view. One thing that I noticed right away that was different was the little islands that they have on the bridges going over to Sanibel are open again, so you can pull over, get in the water, get your beach chair out, and start the adventure early if you want. Last year when we came, those were still being rebuilt from the hurricane, and so way better now. This is where we're going to be staying tonight, the famous Island Inn. It was originally built in 1895. It's our favorite place to stay in Sanibel. Unfortunately, it was almost all destroyed by Hurricane Ian. Only the newer lodges survived. So there isn't a lot of lodging, but I was happy to see that it's fully under construction to rebuild the entire thing. I checked in here at their front desk, which was an office, I think a makeshift office, and I was glad to see that if I took a picture of this, I could get $5 off tickets at the Shell Museum and Aquarium that we're going to be going to. So I got my keys to check in. We're going to be in room 221. They do have free guest laundry here. Looks like just one washer and dryer, but hey, it's free. They also rent bikes, which are so much fun to go biking in Sanibel. And so we are staying in Matthews Lodge. The first floor had parking designated to your spot, and we're going to be up on the third floor in room 221. This is what I mean about construction. Look how it's all being rebuilt. I will forgive some construction noise on this trip because I'm so excited for it to be rebuilt, because definitely always our favorite place to stay in Sanibel. Uses a real key. Let's go ahead and check out our room. I got this kind of last minute. It has a beach view. I got it on Expedia, and it was about $250 for one night during the week. When you first come in, you have a nice bedroom here. I loved all the coastal touches, like the beds, the furniture, and all of the like louver shutters. They have a little crab towel here to greet us, which is really fun. I always enjoy those on cruises. And these like blinds like open and shut, they're made out of wood. There's also blinds here where you can block that light from coming in the door in the morning. I like the coastal colors in here. I think it's really pretty. I like the orange in one room and the blue in the other. This is very Crafty Beach coded. I would definitely decorate a hotel like this. They have lights around the ceiling, and over here we have a large dresser. There is a TV in this room as well, and a little mirror there. Now, if you keep going, this door opens all the way up to shut this room off if you need that, if somebody is sleeping. There are pocket doors kind of everywhere to close everything off, because there's also a bathroom over here. So this will lead into the living room area. There was a couch and 2 chairs, a coffee table, another television in here, and some famous shell art that is local to Sanibel hanging on the walls. I thought that was really cool. A fun coastal room. The balcony there does have the shutters that you can shut that entire wall off, which we will do at night tonight for the sea turtles to make sure they don't see any lights from our room. And they do give you a reminder. It had a full kitchen, a full-size refrigerator, dishwasher, coffee maker with some Island Inn coffee. It was actually really good. Makes a whole pot of coffee here. You have everything you need: a sink, microwave, cabinets, stove, oven, really functional kitchen. We didn't really need a lot of it, but we did definitely take advantage of the refrigerator on this trip. Now, it also has like a little table and chair over here if you want to sit inside, but I would advise sitting out on that wonderful screened-in balcony. Over here, we have a bathroom. So there's like a little pantry there. There's closets here for kind of the room. And then you go into this area that has like 2 sinks with the same granite that's in my kitchen at home, which I thought was really fun. And then there's another little pocket door here shutting off the bathroom that has the toilet. And it had a really nice shower over here. Everything was very nice and very new. I was really impressed with the quality of this room. I don't think I've ever stayed in Matthew's Lodge before. I may have stayed at Starkey Lodge, I'm thinking, because I knew I had stayed in one of the newer ones, but this is Matthew's Lodge and it is definitely operational. It was built more recently, so it survived the hurricane. Now, if you open up your balcony doors, check out this view. Talk about a room with a view. And there's great furniture out here. There's a table and chairs. There's these chairs over here with the little footstools so you can kick back and watch the ocean. There's even like a little wet bar over here with a sink. Everything is screened in, and there is the legendary Sanibel Beach. This is definitely one of my favorite places to go shelling. We're definitely going to be doing that in the morning. Now, there isn't a pool or anything right now. I'm thinking that they will be building that. It looks like, you know, there's construction all the way out there to the ocean, so that's probably where the pool might be, just guessing. But they were definitely actively working on it the next day. This is like a little bit of amenities they have right there near a hotel with grills, tables, chairs, hammocks, and little games and stuff to do down there, a picnic table and stuff as well. And this is the wonderful beach. As you can see, the screen definitely comes in handy to keep all of those Florida bugs off of you when you're out here. And then over to the right, there was lots of construction for sure. And I'm really excited about it. Normally, I wouldn't want to stay someplace that was under construction, but last year we were not able to stay here because there wasn't enough rooms, there wasn't any availability. When we came, we were so disappointed, and so we were really excited to be back at our favorite place, the Island Inn. My son immediately went down to the beach and had to check things out. It looks like they also have like kayaks for rent. This is like one of the picnic tables, more barbecue grills. So kind of just makeshift, kind of sat in the sand right now until they probably get more construction, rebuilding everything from the hurricane. I love this room. I think we're going to be really comfortable in here. It was great for a last minute find. I do love the fact that the artwork is local, especially the shells. This is called Matthew's Lodge after the famous Matthews family that founded this place back in 1895. They were Sanibel pioneers that opened this place, and it has evolved a lot over the years. It is sad to see that, you know, the original buildings aren't here. When we used to stay here, there was a really good restaurant, really historical, but, you know, I kind of like everything being nice and new. It even had a little pet mangrove here that was seated on the wall. It didn't really look like it was in the best shape, but I love the idea of starting a mangrove here in the hotel room so we can have our own plant. So I think I'll go down to the beach and see what Chase is finding. They do give you a little table to dry all your shells out so you don't have to bring them into your room. I'm going to go over here. There are stairs, but there is also an elevator that you can use that will be helpful too if you're also carrying luggage and stuff like that. And so I wanted to check that out too. I'm going to go down to the first floor and go explore the beach with my son. We arrived about 4 o'clock. And so it was later in the day, about 5 o'clock, when I went to explore the beach. And you always want to make sure, especially during sea turtle nesting season, that everything is put away and clear. So I expect all of like the beach furniture and stuff like that to be put away. So let's go down to 1 and see what we can find down there. Like I said, first floor is dedicated parking. You get parking for your actual room number. They do have a shell washing station, like right over here, so you can wash out all of your seashells. They even had like a little scoop here that you could use. I forgot to bring my little shell scoop that I use for when I go shelling. And always remember to make sure they're not alive. I have found a lot of shells here that after I kind of took them a little bit, I checked them, they were definitely occupied, and you want to go put those back on the beach for sure. Only use the shells that don't have anybody in them. That's our room way up there at the very top on the left. And then this is that barbecue grill and table and chairs and hammock that we saw. Very kind of sparse decor out here right now, but enough things for you to need if you wanted to barbecue outside, lay in that great hammock. They also had a picnic table that was covered in everyone's leftover seashells. I was drawn to this immediately. Beautiful shells. I mean, these are everybody's leftovers. And, you know, the next day, this collection had even grown. And a lot of people just sat here and started categorizing them, which I really love. And they have tons of like the little fighting conchs here. Those are always really fun to find. They have a little bit of a cornhole game set up here. And then over here, they have like one of those giant chairs that you can sit in, giant beach chair for a fun photo op. And I absolutely love all of these morning glory growing all over the beach. It's so natural here. There is some messages here about how to take care of the sea turtles. We did find my son is out there in the distance. He's filling in a really large hole from somebody that had made like a sandcastle during the day and left it. So he is out there feverishly trying to fill that hole in so no sea turtles get stuck in there when they're nesting. I did talk to some other guests and they said that they had seen some sea turtles coming in to nest while they were there. So that's him doing a good deed out there. Let's follow this path and check out the beach today. I don't really want to do any shelling tonight. I do have plans. And so I thought that we would just check out the beach first because with a view like this, you kind of have to go out here first, right? And this is the sandcastle that was left. So we're definitely going to have to knock this over. You're not supposed to leave anything like this up at the beach at night just because when the sea turtles are nesting or even when like baby sea turtles are hatching, you don't want them to get stuck in those holes or get stuck on the sandcastle. It can definitely get in their way. Right next to it was an active sea turtle nest. It looks like they might have trouble with things getting into the sea turtle nest over here because they put the wire grate on there, which is not something we do on our side of the ocean. So they must do that for protection of the sea turtle eggs. And of course, it's Sanibel. There's going to be seashells everywhere. Some places of the beach here, it's just made out of nothing but seashells. There was a little bit of seaweed, but I don't think it's as bad as it is over on the Atlantic coast right now. It's not that bad where we live, but it's a lot more than normal too. I do want to look around just a little bit. I found like some skate egg cases. These are always cool. I have a shell table out in my Florida room that my husband built me, and I love to decorate it with starfish that I have found here, lots of different seashells. But egg skate cases like that can be really fun too. My son found this shell, a fun angel wing. I really like that one. You can definitely find a lot of rare seashells here if you have the time to look. And of course, if you didn't bring like a sand shovel like me, you're going to be busy doing that Sanibel stoop, which we're definitely going to be in the morning. Look at all of those seashells. There's a sea turtle nest like right there. And really nice. They had all of the beach chairs put away. We knocked over that sandcastle and did our best to fill in that large hole that was right there. So hopefully if any sea turtles come nesting tonight, they will find a beach that's super receptive for them and they can go lay some eggs. We actually ran into 2 sea turtles back in Vero Beach the other night when we went walking at the beach at night. So that was really amazing to see. We definitely stayed away from them and let them do their thing. So this is what the view looks like in the morning. I woke up. I had a little bit of work to do, so I made some coffee. And we do have construction in full swing over here, which again, I do not mind. No deductions for that because I definitely want this place to be rebuilt. I brought my laptop out here to the screened in porch, and when you're working with a view like that, it is going to be a good morning. Now it's time to go do some shelling. I wanted to check out the shells. I did get quite a few, and I will be using those for my crafting channel at Crafty Beach. I love to do coastal DIYs, and the shells from Sanibel are usually most of my collection. We went out, we filled up lots of bags of seashells. As you can see, it's just nothing but shells. And if you really want to like kind of dig in there, you can just find some amazing things. The beach was beautiful. The water was wonderful. And we actually had some dolphins come in to see us as well. Unfortunately, I wasn't quick enough with the camera to catch those. There were little shell walls like this in the sand near the shore, which helped the shelling process. But we walked down. I know that this place does shelling tours. We have taken a shelling tour here where they teach you about all of the shells. So definitely a famous shelling location. And again, my favorite beach to stay on. I was so happy to be back here in Sanibel. Oh, maybe you can see the dolphins out there. Did you see that? There were two that were swimming right off the shore while we were shelling. And I always see dolphins when I'm on the Gulf side of Florida. They are definitely having some fun here in this beautiful water, and why not? And overall, we want to give this hotel a 5 out of 5 starfish. We love it. It is historic, it's classic, it's our favorite place, and we will forgive the construction. We checked out and we headed to Captiva Island for some lunch, and we are at RC Otters. Really fun place. They had live music out here. We sat out on the patio, had some great seafood. The prices were a little bit higher than I would like, but that's probably going on at all of the restaurants. This is what I had. I had a blackened snapper. My son had calamari. It was delicious. And I actually had little hands here stealing my homemade chips. But it was a really good lunch. We enjoyed it. And now we're fueled up and ready to go to the aquarium. This is the Bailey Matthews National Shell Museum and Aquarium. It's the only museum in the United States that is dedicated to shells and mollusks, and it's a really fun place to explore. Unfortunately, this place was destroyed during Hurricane Ian too, so they have rebuilt this aquarium. It opened in 2024, but when we came last year, they did not have the Hall of Shells open, but today they will, and I'm so excited to see that. The building is beautiful with these aquatic sculptures on the outside, kind of showing you what's inside. Again, Bailey Matthews, this is named after the Bailey and Matthews family that donated the land for the original aquarium. So let's go in and buy some tickets. Hello. It looks like the cost is $25 for an adult. I was able to use the $5 off coupon from my hotel, and it is cheaper for kids and other students and stuff like that. So let's go in and check this place out. Looks like they have a little museum scavenger hunt here if you would like to do that. There is a fish tank as soon as you get in here, filled with lots of tropical fish and coral. Really fun to explore. We definitely tried to find most of the items in this fish tank. The only one that we were not able to find was the Indian fish. I don't know if he wasn't in there or if he was hiding really well from us, but definitely a fun fish tank. Lots of weird little creatures in there, like that little fish right there. But we had a great time checking this tank out. It is an oval shape, so you can go around all of the sides of this, try to find everything. They had some beautiful blue tang, yellow tang up here towards the top. Let's see what's supposed to be in here. The engineer goby, really loved that one. A doresa clam, A mandarin fish, I could not find him, but I really wanted to. The clown anemone fish, very cool. We have a candy cane coral. Love the name. And of course, that branching frog spawn coral, really fun. And the pajama cardinal fish are labeled on this side of the tank. This is that engineer goby. At first, I thought this was an eel. It was really acting like an eel here in the coral reef tank, but my son was quick to tell me that that was an engineer goby, and they were really fun to watch. As you can see, there's lots of hiding places here, so we were trying to find everything in here, but some of the fish and things were definitely hiding in here, but this was a really fun tank to get us started in this aquarium. On this side, it has labeled the Crocea giant clam, the strawberry conch, the maxima clam, the blue tang that we saw, the yellow tang, and it looks like hammer coral, and the lyre-tail anthias. So there is the engineer goby. They had these little tunnels that they had created, and they could kind of do whatever they wanted under there, like hiding from us completely. There was also this fun starfish that I saw, but it was also next to one of those engineer gobies that was coming out and spitting out some sand to dig out its tunnel. Always really fun watching those, and really cool to see like the starfish moving here as well. This was a really great tank, and you can definitely enjoy that one for a while. Now let's see what the exhibits look like. It looks like there is a large globe here showing the ocean. Over here, what do we have here? We have the thrush cowrie. This is an invasive species. Very cool looking cowrie. I love cowrie shells. They're really beautiful to decorate with. Definitely something I always look for. Check out the size of this shell. We have a queen helmet over here. A very large shell. And they say please touch, so you can definitely feel those. Next up is the flamingo tongue and the neon blue goby. These flamingo tongue were really beautiful. Check out that beautiful pattern. And they're mixed in there with the gobies. Just beautiful. Over here we have the disco clam and the Bengai cardinal fish. Cardinal fish are so pretty. I always enjoy them. Look at those beautiful fish. And the disco clam is really fun. They like have little things that look like sparks. If you watch them, it almost looks like they are lighting up, which is really cool. The next one shell here is a giant clam, another please touch. And then we are going to go over to this part of the aquarium and see what kind of exhibits they have over here. It seems like they had more stuff than we visited last year. So let's go in here and see what this room is all about. We're going to start out with some anatomy over here. Now inside of those beautiful shells that you like to collect, the structure of the animals inside is really kind of wild looking when you check out what's inside of these. They also had like exhibits here with all of the different egg capsules that these things came in. You know, we found something on the beach a while ago that was an egg case. Really fun. And they're actually really beautiful. A great variety. These like lighted photos they have on the wall. It talks about variety of beginnings. This is them when they are only 1 day old, little shells. And this exhibit over here is like talks about reproduction, like how some of them reproduce. Now these exhibits were on the wall, lighted up with lots of fun information, educational stuff, and they had like little cutouts with like the actual shell that you see there, like the Ming clam. But hang out for the shell museum because you are going to be blown away by the shell collection that Bailey Matthews has. We were definitely blown away. Now, this is my son's favorite thing. You could watch these forever. They are called the flamboyant cuttlefish. They are so entertaining, whether they are acting up, changing their colors, as you see there, swimming around, walking around on the bottom. We saw them do so many different things. They are called the flamboyant cuttlefish, and they are definitely very flamboyant, and they're very friendly. They kind of like putting on a show. Now, I talked about how the Bailey Museum was destroyed during Hurricane Ian, and can you believe that these guys actually survived that? the return pump on their tank got clogged with debris, and so none of the floodwater got into their tanks, and so they were able to survive. The staff was so surprised to see that they had survived. The Florida Aquarium in Tampa took them in while they were rebuilding the museum and aquarium here, and then they returned to this new space. They were actually kind of blowing each other here. I don't know if this was some form of intimidation, but it was kind of fun to watch them. Over here, I heard they had a California two-spot octopus. It looks like he was definitely hiding. Some people told me to check in between this rock, and I actually see him sleeping in there. Can you see it's like slit eye there towards the top and all of its tentacles? I think I could actually see it better with my camera than I could in real life. It said he's new and he's kind of shy, so he was definitely hiding in the rocks. But you can definitely see him wiggling around in there, and he was super cute. They do have another octopus here at this aquarium too that we're going to be seeing in just a moment. But this is the California two-spot octopus. It says he's brand new, a little shy, and he has two bluish eye spots on each side of his head, which serves to confuse predators. So that's really cool. Over here we have the conch tank. So let's see who we have in here. We have seahorses in here. These are so beautiful and delicate. Always one of my favorite things to look at. They were kind of chill at first when we were viewing them, but then they decided to kind of swim around. It looks like they were like literally holding on to each other. They're not really strong swimmers, as you can see. They want to grab onto something with their tail, something that can kind of reinforce them. But those two were definitely hanging on to each other a little bit here. One of them, the yellow one, has a pouch with it looks like he might have a prolapsed pouch where part of his pouch is coming out there. You know, seahorses, the female lays the eggs into the male. The male one is pregnant and delivers all of the baby seahorses. So that's definitely a very unique thing about them. And they were in there with these conch. Really cool to see these guys. Like, look at their eyes and their radula. You can see there. Very cool. And I think they might have had a couple different species in here because their shells were all a little bit unique. There's also a deer cowrie in here. He looked like he was trying to escape. He was up here at the very top of the tank. But kind of fun to watch these guys. I really liked seeing their little eyes. Very weird. I usually just see the shells. But they were really fun to watch them moving around and hanging out. I really like this aquarium part. It's a smaller aquarium over here to the side, but also has a giant Pacific octopus in this tank. Remember, no flash photography. Even if you're taking a video or something like that, you definitely don't want to startle these guys. And he was snoozing over here, pressed up against the rocks. It was kind of hard to get a good view, but you can see his eye, and you can see like its tentacles, and he looks very relaxed, sleeping there in between those rocks. Over here on the other wall, they have some other fun exhibits. The little solar-powered snail there, the leaf slug, I thought that those were actually fake when I saw those. These things definitely look like something that maybe AI created, but who knew they were real? And they have some educational videos where you can learn about some creatures here on the wall. This is the opposite side from the other wall that was covered kind of in educational things, and it looks like these are all amazing adaptations. Check out the mini eyes on this scallop. Isn't that so cool? I love those things. And then they had like a video of the pocketbook mussel. They pretend like they're little fish here on top, and it fools fish. And I thought that was really cool. This is the end of that educational wall, and then right behind that is also another little tank filled with mangrove fish. It's like one of those little tunnels that you can climb inside to get a closer look of these mangrove fish. And they have like a faux mangrove tree like growing down in here. Very cool. And then it looks like nautiluses and squids. On this side, they had a little model set up here with nautilus. inside, also teaching you like about like the nautilus anatomy. Those shells are so beautiful, some of my very favorite. It talks about squids over here. And you know, we used to go see the giant squid at Moat Aquarium, the old Moat Aquarium, but they don't have that anymore. At least the new one. I think it was too fragile to move, but hopefully they'll reopen that where you can go see that again. Really cool preserved giant squid. Now over here we have a touch tank area, which we're definitely going to visit. My son wanted to touch everything in here. You have to wash your hands first, of course. It looks like there is a little lab over here where they work on the animal. So let's peek in there. It looks like it's all very blue light in here. But a cool little lab inside here where the marine biologists work. And we're gonna go check out the touch tank. They only have one side open at a time. We timed it pretty well because we got to see this side that was getting ready to close, and then they opened up the other side. So we were able to see those creatures and touch them as well. And I think we'll just go ahead and listen to this experience here.
Oh, it's also really cold. So yeah, this is what their shell looks like. So they take their mantle and then they wrap it around the shell. So you're only seeing a little bit at a time. If something comes up and tries to eat them, they'll go and
What
they'll
type of snail is this?
This is a Lewis moon snail.
Oh.
Yeah, so you're only seeing just a little bit of their shell at a time.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
There's some abalones. Who's seahorse?
You saw? Yeah. They're eating some lunch right now. They're eating their red algae. So yeah, these guys are eating.
So cute.
I can't even feel him. I know, he's so soft.
Is there a California sea hare?
Yeah, there's tons of sea hares. You see them?
Aww.
They're eating them over there. Get some footage of that.
Love sea hares.
And then I had like a
What are those things back there?
It was really cute.
What are those?
Abalones.
Okay, I'll trust you.
There's a sea hare in that
Yeah,
one.
honestly, these guys, they have a hard shell on their back, but their little sticky foot's pretty cool.
That is cool.
That's the abalone. Isn't that cool? Pretty awesome. We have our leather chitin. Oh, here he is. Right there. So we've got a leather chitin in here hanging out on the
cool.
wall. Yeah. He's not as big as the gum boots, but
Spanish dancer's a different kind of slug.
Oh,
yeah, they're like a nudibranch. They're a little bit different. Those are so cool though.
they are cool.
So cool. Yeah, the ones on the wall, these are red abalone snails, and then the slugs, they're called California sea hare.
Look at their foot.
I know, yeah.
It's huge. The ones that are open over here look so funny.
I know, they're like, they're literally just waiting for food to come by.
Oh,
That's
really?
literally what they're doing, yeah.
So are they like filter feeders?
Kind of, not quite. So I think it's easily confused with filter feeding, but we call them drift feeders. So basically,
Oh.
especially these ones under the waterfall, what they're doing is they can feel this current moving. They know if they hang out where the current's out, where this waterfall's out, in the ocean most likely, if there's algae or food coming down current, they're gonna catch it. So that's why they're all here.
That one caught something.
Yeah, see? It works. Oh yeah, probably got some algae that was floating around. Good job, buddy.
That's cool.
So yeah, thanks for washing your hands, guys. These are our cold water mollusks. These are snails and slugs from the Pacific, so you'll notice the cold water. So that'd be like California, Canada, Washington, but with any of them 1 or 2 fingers.
We got to see those, and then we're waiting for these to open up. We have the horse conch, the apple murex, the lace murex, the lightning whelk is going to be on this side. We have the bruised nassa, and it looks like the crown conch, the pear whelk, and the banded tulip, and the Florida fighting conch. So many of those shells that we found at the beach. And we also found a lot of these too, the lettered olive. Whoa, really?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Whelks.
That's the work of like 2 or 3.
Oh, okay.
And she's just the latest one to contribute.
Lay their eggs in
Crazy.
groups like that?
They do, yeah. Apple murex are known for it. They'll make these like giant clusters of eggs. Lace murex apparently will do that too. Yeah, the little ID tags just help us tell the individuals apart. Yeah, they have annual wellness checkups with the vet, and the vet also, if we
Yeah.
have problems with anybody, she'll come, and we want to make sure that we're talking about the correct one. So.
It was a very fun touch tank experience. We always enjoy this. My son always likes getting there and learning about new things, and they were very educational. The hallway here on the outer side of the building looks like they have snacks and drinks, and there's also restrooms here if you need it. But now it's time to go upstairs. Upstairs is going to be the Great Hall of Shells. I'm really excited about it. Last time they did not have this, and so definitely was something we wanted to check out, and I was blown away by the Great Hall of Shells. So let's go upstairs and check it out. There's this one staircase here where you go up. We have an awesome squid hanging here from the ceiling. When you first come up here, they have some shells displayed. They have this giant squid on the wall, which is really cool. And then over here to the right is the Great Hall of Shells. When you come in here, it's kind of shaped like a circle within a circle, where they have like the shells in the middle here, also shell tables. But if you go around the outer perimeter, there's so many different things, and you can learn about all of these different shells as well. I learned so much by checking out all these. It took a really long time to actually get through this shell museum because they had so much stuff and there was so much information about them. They have like little models set up like this about like invasive species of shells. We have the Hawaiian land snail information over here. So some of it were like models of actual shells and collections of shells, but also lots of information about them as well. These were all on display to help you identify shells. I really love the horse conch and the Florida fighting conch, some of my very favorites. And I always like the scallops too, just because they're always colorful and something that I can find easily on the beach. And this is a shell lover's paradise in here. But you can find all kinds of cool things that they do. Like it talks about like the pearls, that shells make. Over here we have shell trumpets where they have these beautifully carved conch horns. Very cool. And then it talks about like how they use shells for decorative arts. Really beautiful things. And check out the carvings on these. When you light them up like this, absolutely amazing. As somebody that does a crafting channel and does a lot of coastal crafts, I really enjoyed all of this stuff, especially like this. This is the Sailor's Valentines. Check out these intricate displays. They even do words here, like with all my love, all made out of seashells. Absolutely beautiful. Look at the level of detail on this shell art. I can't imagine how long it would take someone to put these together and to have the collection to be able to make something so gorgeous. These were definitely some of my favorite exhibits here in the Shell Museum. Over here we have some adornments made out of shells. Very cool. And you learned a lot of history about how they used shells in different cultures and for different things. If you're going to read all of the exhibits, you are going to be in here for hours. Here we have mother of pearl. Look how they made the buttons out of the shells. Very cool. Over here we have art inspired by shells. Absolutely beautiful. I just could not get enough of these exhibits, and I had to see absolutely everything in here. They have an architecture section where buildings were inspired by shells. Very cool. Over here, shells and creativity. We love to see it. This talks about like shell foodways. You can learn about different shells that are used for food, where they're found. And there's like little displays to show you the shells too. This side was about medicine, different medicines that they use shells to create. This was really interesting. And they even had like some of the medicines on exhibit like this non-addictive pain medication that is made from peptides that are found in the venom of cone snails. I thought that was really cool. I have worked pharmacy for many, many, many years of my career, so I was definitely interested in that. And over here we have how shells were used in religion, how they were used as currency and for economy over in this section. Shells just have such a history, and to have a museum dedicated to them specifically was so cool. Over here we have shells that were used to make tools and models. Look at these cool tools that the Native Americans used shells for. I thought these were really cool. I mean, I think that shells like usually break, but I guess some of these are really tough. You could use them for tools. This display over here talked about like micro mollusks, and they even had like a microscope set up here where you could check out some of these little tiny shells, which I thought was really cool. Let's see if I can show you. It's one of those large microscopes that you can just see right in without having to put your eyes up to it. Over here we have world record shells. Check out the size of these shells. Amazing. I would just die if I found some of these on the beach. Absolutely amazing. And some of them don't seem that big, but I guess they are for what they were. But they have like lots of exhibits set up too, like this. And these are like some extinct shells that used to be found in Florida. So it was fun learning about them as well. They're very cool. They have an evolution section set up here where you can do Florida fossil towers here for time scales. So that was really interesting as well. We have some deep sea mollusks over in this section. Very fun shells. And just like fun exhibits showing off like tree snails and stuff like this, which were really fun to look at as well. Over here we have the Caribbean liguus. Very cool tree snails. We love looking for tree snails when we're down in the Keys. And check out all of these tree snail collection they have. They're all different patterns and different kinds, all labeled and displayed beautifully in this case. It looks like from the map here that the tree snails were a little bit more prevalent back in 1850, but now they're mainly found down in the Keys. We always like to hunt for them. Look at these Cuban painted snail shells. These are like a land snail that's found in Cuba, and this collection is beautiful. We have some other Florida land snails over here. Their shells are just gorgeous, and this collection like literally goes on and on. It was so much fun. But I really liked all of the like little exhibits they set up here to show like what some of the shelled creatures and mollusks would look like in their natural habitat. This one was really cool there. It also had like a raccoon and a horseshoe crab in there. So that was really fun. Over here we have Southwest Florida snail collection. Really cool. It like breaks them down like where they live. And then they have their shell collections behind glass. Really beautiful. Hey, look, there's the angel wings that we found at the beach today. That was really fun. But it's so fun to learn what all of the different shells are and to see like different varieties of them. Their collection is just really extraordinary. I really don't think there's anything they don't have in this shell collection. I know this place was not open last year when we came here, and I was really excited to see all of the shells displayed in this shell museum, but I really had no idea how vast the collection is, and now I know why it took some extra time to get this open, this part, and so really excited. I want to show you guys as much as I can here in this exhibit because the shells were just so beautiful, and they're all from South Florida, so that's really cool too. Lots of unique shells for sure. Now over here we have another display, another fun shell display. This one's got a bird in it. Over here it talks about shell collecting and the history of the area and the shells, different guides. And there's Hallie Matthews there on the left. She was the homesteader that founded Island Inn back in 1895. And she also hosted the first shell festival in Sanibel. And she's probably the reason why Sanibel is so famous for the shelling and very big here in the community. Now here in the center section, if you look up, you can see these beautiful blue and white windows that you could see from the outside of the building. And that's now the center part that you saw. So the center part of the Shell Museum, they have it walled off like this in a circle, as you can see, like the reflection there from the other side. And they just have a beautiful seashell collection in here. And I wanted to show you guys as much as I could because it's just so beautiful here. Wasn't that just amazing? There's also a little area here that you can rest in between the shell cabinets, but I tried to show you as much as I could in here. When you walk back out to the second floor here, they have more shells set up and these little observation things all labeled, really beautiful. And it talks about the giant squid that they have painted on the wall, which is enormous. Little areas to sit down too and just kind of relax a little bit. But the shell collection just doesn't end. They have so many things. And we just had a blast. If you love seashells, you have to come to this place when you visit Sanibel for sure. Over here, it looks like they had a little auditorium set up where you could watch a film inside of here if you wanted to. And then this hallway was covered with beautiful aquatic photography and art of different mollusks here. Very beautiful. Some of these things just don't even look real. They're so colorful and so pretty. So I definitely had to check out this hallway too and check out some of the art. But we've seen everything, so let's go to the gift shop. I always love gift shops at aquariums because you can get some really great crafting inspiration for home decor, but it's also like a really good place to get books and stuff like that. They had an entire bookshelf as soon as you come in for shell books for adults all the way to like little kids, and tons of fun guides. T-shirts. My son already has a t-shirt from here from last year when we came. He even wore it. And this is some of their beautiful decor they have set up. And I always want to check everything out because a lot of times I will get like a DIY idea for something for my home using gift shop as an inspiration. And if it's something, that I can't make, I will definitely purchase it as well. And I love checking out all the coastal decor. Isn't all this stuff just beautiful? I love that. I have actually made like little shell boxes before on my YouTube channel at Crafty Beach, very similar to that one that you see there on the right. But they also have some set up like with like little lantern boxes. My son wants this Bailey Matthews sticker. So I think we might stick to stickers this time. We already have t-shirts. We already have magnets from here. So stickers might be a good thing. They have plenty of plush magnets. I like this sticker. I think I'm going to get this for my water bottle. Sanibel Island. I have one for Key West on the other side, so I think that one will be perfect. But again, I have to look at everything. Such beautiful coastal decor. And different items like gift items and stuff like that. Really fun. And then over here, they have some beautiful stickers. I think I'll get one of these. I think I'll get one of these for my car window. I think that's really cool. It's got a little sea turtle on there, and it is weatherproof, so I can put it on my car window. And they also have coastal Christmas ornaments, so I always like checking those out too, because I'm always crafting those for sure. Over here, they had a shell guide. I think I definitely need these, because a lot of times I don't know the type of shell, and this would be perfect for my beach bag. I can just pull it out and identify the seashells. So I think we'll buy that. We're going to buy some stickers and the shell guide for some souvenirs from this fun trip. Overall, we're going to give this a 5 out of 5 starfish, the Bailey Matthews National Shell Museum and Aquarium, just because it's so unique. It's the only museum in the United States devoted to shells and mollusks, and we always have a great time, and the shell collection definitely took it over the top. Thank you so much for joining us today on our Crafty Beach adventure. I'm glad you came to Sanibel with us. Hopefully you had a great time and got some ideas for somewhere that you would like to travel in the future. Let me know down in the comments below if you have any questions about any of the places that we went to, or just come say hello. I love reading all of your comments, and I'd really appreciate it if you would like today's video, and don't forget to subscribe to my new channel here, Crafty Beach Adventures.